Hi everyone, welcome back to WesKnows Tech News and Reviews. Today we'll be taking a look at the BYTTRON SO1 smartwatch. Well, you can see it's in pink as well as in gold. So it is more of a feminine watch. So what we'll be doing today is actually looking at the features and functions. We'll look at the design, we'll look at the display, we'll tell you all about this smartwatch. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you are new to WesKnows Tech News and Reviews, we talk about the latest tech news. We do brutally honest reviews and share hacks and tricks along the way. As with all the reviews on the WesKnows channel, first we'll get into the design, then we'll talk about the display, and then we'll get into the features and functions as well as a detailed walkthrough through all the apps and widgets on this watch. So first of all, the design. Well, we can see it does have a circular face. What I love about this watch is that the case is absolutely metal. There's no plastic, apart from the underside where the optical heart rate sensor actually takes measurements of your heart rate on top of your wrist. Now, when we look at the case, we can see that the lugs are also metal. So in this particular watch, you do get it in gold with a pink bracelet. What you will notice about the strap is that it's a leather strap, and the clasp is actually the classic watch type clasp, and that makes it so easy to put either on or off during exercise or during casual wear. What you will love is that the clasp is metal, so it's not fiddly. It feels right. The straps are the usual watch type straps, so they're not clicking, they are just like any other watch straps. So you would actually have to go out and buy them if you do want to change the color. But I would say that the pink does go well with the gold case. It's a bezel-less design and it's quite light. The watch is under 40 grams. You will notice that it's completely circular. There are no buttons anywhere on the side of the watch case. It's a fully touch activated display. So if you do want to switch it on, just tap the actual screen and the display will come up. Let's talk about the display specs. So what we get here is an LCD display panel, and the display panel is actually square. So even though the design of the face is round, the actual panel that you will be seeing is square, and it's 240 by 240 pixels. So it's bright enough and there's no pixelated displays. Everything is seen sharply and quite well. There are a number of faces. So there's 3 that are pre-installed on the watch. But if you go to the DaFit app, which is the companion app for the BYTTRON SO1, you will get a load of different faces that you can actually download on top of the watch. And it does download quite quickly. So within about 30-40 seconds, you get a new face for your watch. So wherever you look on the display, you actually see the glass. It's everywhere. And you can see that it's slightly curved as you get to the top of the face. It's flat, so you can always put some screen protector on top of this if you do want to protect it from the knocks and the bumps that you get in the usual day-to-day wear of the smartwatch. So now let's chat through the features and functions on the BYTTRON SO1. So as you swipe up from the home screen, you get to your shortcut apps. So you see how much sports you've done in the day, you can see how many steps you've taken, and that will show you the distance as measured by the length of your stride, and you actually set that up in the app, as well as the calories burnt for those steps taken. And then of course you also see your sleep tracking, and this will actually give you your light as well as your deep sleep metrics. And this is excellent. So you can break down your sleep into the light and deep sleep. So this is a 2-stage sleep tracking. Now let's look at the rest of the features that's available on the SO1. So by swiping horizontally, either left or right from the home screen, you get to the full features of this smartwatch. We get the sports app. If you click into that, you've got 8 sport modes to choose from. Now I do have to mention that the 8 sport modes are not goal-based. So you can't be actually basing your activity on the distance to be covered or the duration of your actual exercise. You will be just clicking into a sport, and for that particular activity, such as walking or running, you will be able to see what your heart rate is like, as well as the calories burnt during that particular exercise. So let's keep going. Then of course you do have your heart rate widget. As you go into there, you click into it, and that will give you a spot reading for your heart rate. But of course you can set it up to be measuring your heart rate continuously in the DaFit app. This watch does have the blood pressure measurement as well, so that is quite useful. But also make note that this is not a medical device, so I wouldn't trust this as much as your on-arm blood pressure monitor, but it can give you a guide as to what your blood pressure is at. Another crucial feature that this BYTTRON S1 has is the Spo2 monitor, and as we all know, Spo2 is your blood oxygen saturation monitor. As we keep scrolling through the widgets, we get to the second screen, which owns your message screen, your weather screen, as well as the photo camera shutter screen. So getting into your shutter screen will actually avail you to take photos after 3 seconds or 10 seconds. Then of course you do have the music player, and here it's quite comfortable to use because the buttons are large enough and quite convenient to actually play some music off your smartphone. And this music control is quite useful. It saves you from pulling out your smartphone. On the third screen you do get your timer, you get your power off and on, and of course you do get your settings. Once going into settings, you can actually switch on the mute on, so basically acting as your DND or the do not disturb mode. And of course you do have the brightness setting. Now this watch does not offer always on display, but then again consider the low price of this. But it does offer 5 levels of brightness, and even though the first level of brightness is almost pitch black, number 5, so the 5th brightness level, does offer sufficient brightness for you to be able to comfortably have a look at the display and see the values that you need, be it in direct sunlight, be it in the shade, or wherever. And then of course you do have the reset option. Now what I did notice about this watch is that you do get a timer, but there is no stopwatch. Another thing I'd like to mention is that when you do go into your widget for your weather, you can't actually expand on it. So when you do look at your weather, you will just be able to see the weather for today. There is no weather forecast available. When clicking into sports, let's say into walking, you'll be able to track your steps, your distance covered, as well as your calories burned and your current heart rate. And you can either pause the actual exercise if you did decide to stop, or you can stop it completely. But if you did pause it, you can actually resume it once you start moving again. Also, I did notice that when you do go into the swimming sport profile, you only get the option to start it. So this watch will not be measuring the number of laps that you have actually swum. What it does is measure your calories and your heart rate. But beware that in the water, the heart rate measurement is quite inaccurate. But it's not just on the BYTTRON, it's in general across the smartwatches. If you do want to accurately measure your heart rate in the water, you will need a chest strap. The BYTTRON SO1 might look like a smartwatch, but it actually has the features and functions more similar to a fitness tracker. It's got a lot of functionality, so it can measure your blood pressure, your heart rate, your sleep accuracy. It can actually give you your blood oxygen saturation level monitoring. So it does quite a bit. It can monitor your steps, your distance covered. You can change faces on this screen, and you've got quite a lot of faces to download from the Fit app. Another major benefit of all smartwatches, including the BYTTRON SO1, is the fact that you can have silent alarms. So let's say you're going to sleep and you want to wake up at 7 a.m. but you do not want to wake up your household or your partner. So what you do, you go to the Fit app and you set up alarms. And when the time comes to wake up, you will get a vibration that will shake your wrist and will wake you up silently. Anyways, this is all I have to say about the BYTTRON SO1. If you did like the review, please drop us a like. And if you want to see more of the same, you know what to do. Please click on the red subscribe button below the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.